Hello traders, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Hello everybody, good morning. Hope you are all doing really well and yeah, ready for a morning stream here, a live trading stream for this London session. Give me the quick sound check as always, making sure that the volume there is okay. If you can, whenever you're ready. Let me just adjust a couple of things here. Still flat this morning, no trades, yes, thus far. Let me just adjust everything here. There we go. And we can jump in. Good morning. Yeah, let me know in the chat, please. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody and then we can mark some levels and yeah, jump into a session. So we've got Dark Goose, Cosmos, Trader Bill, Nick, Yay, Moro, Meeting Puri, Daniel, Deanon, Mr. Ethan, and then some nice name that I can't pronounce, Yukasa, Mads, Superlative, Dats, Trader, The Sultan, Jordi, Gula, Piki Roberto, Sufa, good morning, nice, perfecto, STE, good morning. Sound is good, thank you, perfect. Okay, yeah, do let me know if there's any issues with the sound, especially with the background music and stuff. Okay, so nice. Hello everybody. So yeah, welcome. This is a morning update here on obviously the futures. We can touch on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is reaching around 118,000. We just show up here. We're just at 118,500. So nice to see BTC resuming the higher time frame uptrend. Good stuff, super, okay, good. Good. Where can we trade? Okay, there's many places where you can do that. But yeah, if you have any questions, keep them in the chat. I'll try and go through everything there during the stream. Grab your coffee. Again, and as always, everything we cover here today is not financial advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. Yes, let's Nick, let's take a look. I'll take a look on both ES and NQ. That's kind of like otherwise it's too much to cover on these streams. So what I'll do is I'll try and yeah, cover ES and Q, and we can briefly touch on BTC as well. But yeah, any questions, let me know. I'm just gonna start here. I'm gonna mark a couple of levels. So this is the Quanthour platform. So if you have any questions, just ask. So let's go and mark. So you can see here we're trading at $25,000 on NQ. Yesterday, obviously, we came up to, you can see here, previous week high. So we got the previous week high from here, which we broke yesterday. So that's what we're kind of like dealing with. And then last night we opened. So let's put the open here. Let's just mark a couple of levels, help us for our trading this morning. We're already kind of pushing through again. So obviously all-time highs here. Let's just mark this as full session open. Okay, and lock this level. And we're going to look at previous day's values. For that, we can use a different screen. Let's go. So the value area high is actually right at the top there at 25,335. So let's mark that on here. So let's go, we can do it here. So 35, that was, actually, let me just open it up on this side. Make sure I tick 4. And yeah, any questions, do let me know. So this is NQ, value area high. Actually, why don't we anchor it here? Let's mark this. It's nice to do this with you guys here. I've not updated this morning, so let's mark the value area low as well. This is that very, very important previous day range that we should always be aware of when we're looking for levels and trading. Let me just lock this one as well so it doesn't move around, and as well the point of control. And you can see there the point of control is sitting right at that previous week high, but you know, it's very good to mark this. So let's mark previous day point of control there at 25.25, and then the previous week high at 25.27. So very close together, those two levels. Okay, so let's just quickly look back to see any other levels. I don't think it's worth marking any other values, so what we can do now is just hide those values. And then what we're gonna do as well is see where was the settlement from yesterday, which was 25.17, and I can show you that by enabling the settlement here. So 25.17 there. So we've got quite a lot of confluence around this 20s. So should we come down to 20s, we know that there's going to be a little bit of support here. So 1750, so 1750 there, and let's mark this as settlement. These are those levels in price action that get well respected. So let's just hide that, and let's just take a look at the previous day high and low. And look at that, the previous day high also at 36. Previous day low obviously really far away, all the way down at the low, so we're not going to mark that for now, but the previous day high for sure will mark that as well. So let's mark, and I prefer to mark this manually because then it gives me the sense of things. So let's just hide that now, and there you go. So that's our ES levels marked for today. Okay, so while we remain above, and you can see, look at that big cluster. So between 25, call it 40s below the low this morning, all the way down to, well, 25k. That's all going to be nice support. Okay, so we just zoom out so you can see this uptrend. And actually this was a single print down here. We can take a look at the TPO very quickly. Let me just expand this. Yeah, we've got a bunch of singles, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it better by increasing the tick size. There you go. Yeah, there's loads of single prints. So yesterday's trading session, we had one time framing up since A session. So B session, one time framing up, C, D, one time framing up, E, one time framing up, F, G, one time framing up, H, one time framing up, meaning that the previous session was not taken, and you've got all that until the close. So super bullish move yesterday. And yeah, we had fun yesterday. Myself, Severin, he's actually streaming right now on the platform. So I'm sure the members, when they finish, will probably come and join us. But yeah, absolute legend. You know, I had a bit of fun as well. I actually streamed late in the PM session. We managed to catch a few trades, and yeah, finished the day. Yeah, but Severin, absolute legend. What an amazing day he had yesterday. Yeah, he was really killing the moves yesterday. I mean, look at that. So beautiful all the way up. So let's take a quick look at ES now. And yeah, any questions? I'm just going to take a quick look here on the chat. Hey buddy, good. Yeah, any questions, do keep them in. I don't see anything in the chat, so that means it's all good. And yeah, if I see any trade on the side, we'll take them. View up down there at 53 as well. So you've got quite a lot of confluence. 25,100. There's quite a lot of. There's a big cluster of orders waiting here. Going to zoom in more locally then. Let's mark the local levels just before we move on to ES. I want to make sure that if there's a trade here. Okay, I'm going to mark this left high. This is a 15-minute chart, as you can see there. Okay, let's go down to a 5-minute. yeah, you can see we've got this beautiful uptrend. I mean, look, even when you zoom out, so higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, so just squeezing. So there's no reason to really kind of like try to short this market. But it is okay to take those quick short scalps if we see a meaningful like move down, etc. So we'll be looking at that during this session. But for now, like we're moving nice higher highs and higher lows. So just going to mark the and I'm going to keep this really zoomed in so that you can actually see properly the candles. So I'm going to mark the nearest lows, which actually sit down here. So this is 25,050, and then let's just go to the liquidity map and see. Oh, there you go. 50 actually becomes the VWAP. So the VWAP here is sitting around, there you go, so 50s. So should we come down and have a little retracement down to 55s to 50s, that could be a nice place to continue, you know, with the long. So yeah, let's keep it on this chart here and go over there in a second to do ES. So a couple of questions coming through. Can we run through some alts maybe if we have some time? Yeah, we can do that in a minute. BTC, well, I'll be here a while. I'll be trying to, you know, get a couple of trades in. Gold, yes, we can take a look at gold. Gold is ripping. BTC, yes. Iger new here. Can you explain the single print? Single print is just a simple right, let me just move over to this other screen. So a single print, so don't be overwhelmed by, you know, how complex this looks, because it's really not. So this is a TPO chart, and here we're looking at so these letters, each letter here, and I'm going to make this even more simple by taking a couple of things off so that it's not too noisy for you. So let's take, so a single print. So let me just start by explaining this. So each letter here, so letter 1, which is BA, that's the New York RTH, or regular trading hours open, 9:30 a.m. in New York. So that's when the stock market opens there, and it represents a 30-minute auction. So in other words, if you go to TradingView and put a 30-minute chart, that's what this letter represents. So you've got the open, this little green letter, that's the open, that's where it opened yesterday. It came down, okay, and then it ripped all the way up to the highs, and then it closed. Where did it close? Actually closed on there. So so that's the A session, which is 30 minutes, and then you got B session again, and then close at the highs, and then C, D, E, etc, etc. So each represents 30 minutes of trading. But when you go from one letter to another, and now I'm going to bring up those letters, those numbers here, show count. So when you go from one letter, so you've got two prints here, so A and B at the same price, so 24, 84, 225. So there's two prints. Can you see 2, 2, 2? There's two prints here, so that's fine. That means a good market. But when you go from the top of one letter to another section and you print 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, that means all of this section here, delineated by this little line here, that means between here and there's a single print, and that single print is actually quite large. So you would look at this, and this is very similar to what ICT called a fair value gap, okay? But really, this is called a single print. Okay, it's kind of like an inefficiency or an imbalance in price action. So when it goes very violently, you can see it open, and then it just moves on to the next section. Okay, and then after this single print, you've got another one up here. You can see it. Actually, let's mark. So that's what a single print is. Not a fair value gap. It's a single print on TPO. So you know TPO has been around for many years. Okay, and then there's another one here. Another smaller one here, as you can see. So there's another single print, and these letters get extended. So when you're trading, and you can see them here. So this is a 15-minute chart here on the right for the same price, and you can see that same gap, which is a single print in price action. Can you see? So the line represents a single print. Okay, so if price is to come there and rebalance, but be aware that we have bigger ones down below. Okay. So good question. I love single prints because they represent areas in a chart where price tends to revisit. So yeah, very important to know exactly what it is. Okay, so that's what a single print is. And this software is called Quantower. You're very welcome. Where to trade ES and NQ? I made research, but everything is so complicated. Not really. You can just find a broker. Find a broker in your area, wherever you are in the world. Contact them. Say, can I trade ES and NQ? Contact the company. And they should say, yes, we allow customers from, I don't know where you are, America, UK, Portugal, Europe, whatever. Whatever you may be, I don't know where you are. So just contact a local broker, check on their website, their details, send them an email and say, do you accept customers from whatever you are? And can I trade ES and NQ? Not Forex, but ES and NQ, the futures. And there's plenty of choices out there. I'm sure you'll find a broker. And then if they come back to you and say, yep, just get your application, get it started. And again, not financial advice. It's just, how you can do it. Right, let's take a quick look at ES. So this was ES yesterday, very similar. I'm going to make this a little bit, I'm going to go tick 5. Okay, there you go. So you can see ES as well, very similar fashion to NQ, where we started the session yesterday, RTH, with a nice move higher. B session didn't take A session low, C session didn't take B session low. So one time framing, this is called one time framing, when the market is so bullish that doesn't give any retracements. And then it continues, G has a little pullback to the midpoint there, and then continues H, I, J, K, and then it closes at 61. Okay, so 61 we know going into today. We're currently trading at let's have a look here. Yeah, 67 up here. I'm not looking at the overnight here. We can just do that very quickly. Okay, so that, yeah, we're currently trading just on the range. So I'm just going to hide that again. I don't need to see that. Keeping this for the regular trading hours only. There you go. So we know that this settlement here at 61 is support, which is just the low of this move here. That's where it closed yesterday. So this is going to offer some support. So while we're trading above bullish, if we trade below, then we can look for at least one of those singles to be filled. We can see a single right down here around that 48, which is around the 50s, and another one around that 57. So 1 and 2. So those are the two logical places where we can see a little pullback. In fact, let's take a look at VWAP. VWAP from yesterday closed at 35s. So yeah, anywhere you've got the node. Point of control is right up here though, so closing below might bring that nice retracement that can give us a nice little trade there. So yeah, those are the two markets there. And on the weekly, let's take a look at ES. You can see consolidation right at the highs, volume nodes all the way down at 6,711. That's where fair value is. So, you know, when you compress this point of control, you can see that the market has got a lot of value around that $6,710, and currently we are breaking out of that and trying to build more value here. So break above, we can have another run to 6,800. Break below, we can retest the single, which is at 6,750, or the top of value high, which sits around these. So in other words, let's say price looks above, fails and comes back below, then we could look for single and then potentially the top of this here. So 1, 2, then it becomes support. So we can see this trade, and then obviously we can look for another high. But it would be nice to take at least that little high there before doing any kind of move back down. But for now, we'll continue with that nice squeezy sort of like price action where you're doing this. So you want to see price continue going higher and then continue to that 6,800, which sits around here. So that would be nice to see going into today, 6,800s. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a quick look at BTC, because BTC is at that nice key level. Let me just look at my levels here from last week or this week trading. So these are all the regular trading hours gaps on the CME. And we are working within that 20 overnight So let me just disable this so you can see. So that's exactly where we are now. So we are touching the midpoint of the upper gap on the regular trading hours. So this is resistance. This happened overnight. This box was put here yesterday, and below price now, what we have on BTC is quite a lot of gaps, loads of them, and they're all very large. So I'm going to show you now by going into RTH, regular trading hours. So this one in particular, this one is actually very, very big. This is probably the biggest gap we've seen in a while. On this price action, which is all of this. So now we can actually do the following. We can actually move this down. That will be gap fill, and this will be gap low. That one is not completely filled. There's still a little bit more to go. So I'm going to make another alert at the midpoint of that gap going into today. And then we're going to mark the 17,400, which is the top of this gap here. Let's go 50. So these are the levels to watch. So the upper, filled, and the lower here. I'm going to delete this alert for now. I'm a little bit concerned about all of these gaps on BTC. On the way up, and the reason for that, it's because these tend to get filled, okay? And basically where we are on the cycle for Bitcoin, for me, I will need obviously the at least next week's data, but if BTC comes back inside this range here, I fear that BTC, well, it will actually be a good opportunity, but I feel like BTC could be heading towards this gap down here after, and this will just be blasted through just the same way as these little ones were blasted through on the upside now. Because on the monthly time frame we don't actually have great structure for the monthly open, which always makes, you know, charting a little bit more complicated, because what you have is like a series of not so good lows. And you know, if you're a champion, you know that we are pretty much right around that kind of like cycle end for BTC. So when we talk about like the higher time frame targets, we could well see that 105 if price accepts back below, especially now that we've trapped the upper and last gap on this chart. So we basically just kind of like done it. So this is something I'll be looking at, which will then bring the best higher time frame trades. So not financial advice. However, if we do reject here going into today, okay, and we have a meaningful pullback, I will not be looking to buy none of this, none of this, none of this, none of this. Only buys will be done here, meaning that if you do manage to grab a short or hedge your spot BTC, this is a very good place to do so, because when you look at, you know, negative targets, this actually could bring price much lower, and I mean like a little bit lower. I don't want to be a bear, but you know, cycle would be the gap at 92k actually, and that's quite low because that will sit all the way down here. So that would be the cycle low for this, which is still bullish on the higher time frame, but something to be aware of. Okay, let's just delete these. Boom. And that one as well. Oops. Not that. There you go. But for now, all looking good. Let's see how it behaves during the, and you can see it on this chart. It's actually much better. Let's hide the gaps. There you go. You can see on this chart here how you have the high. You've broken structure here. Okay. You've now taken the stops this night here. So if you are to fail here and come back below, so these levels that we've marked are kind of like good levels to be aware of, because if you do reject here, I would not be looking to buy or buy or buy or buy at all here. This section is a no buy, no buy, no buy, and we look for that lowest, which is at least 105, below all of this here. Okay, that would be the best place, which can then bring us a little bit much lower prices. Obviously that's, you know, time will tell, but in terms of like really higher time frame, so higher time frame, you know, the cycle high will be, you know, that's what we kind of like would like to see, is around that 138. Okay, oops, that's not, doesn't look like a tree at all, for BTC. Okay, which is nothing less, nothing more than that. That's where we'd like to see BTC trade to. However, if we do reject here like so, then I'll be looking for at least 105 and then potentially another run back up. In other words, something like if it rejects this, like this, then we look for that later. Okay. Questions? And then let's take a look at the market. We haven't missed much. The market is still around the same place as we left it. You're very welcome. Igor, what about the 369 Nikola Tesla law? I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to do some research. What platform is that? This is Quantower. I think we're going lower on BTC. It's not about thinking. It's about having the plan. Like we've just gone through. It's about being prepared and following the process. So, you know, be it wrong or right, it doesn't really matter. It's about the process. As long as you follow the process and you've got your risk management set and everything is okay, you're good to go. You know, if it's a losing trade, then you've learned a hell of a lot. If it's a winning trade, then, you know, kudos. That's it. So keep it simple. Okay. So yeah, don't set a bias for yourself. Just kind of have the plan like we did here. So have the plan. So know where you are, you know, check sentiment, you know, what is actually going on. Check the volume nodes, especially on BTC, because, you know, volume nodes on BTC are very, very well respected. And you can see here, so you've got obviously the one at 121, which we're coming up to now. And then the next one below, it's literally, so you basically have two zones. You've got zone 1, which is right here, and then zone 2. So if we trade to 1, reject and fail, then trade to 2. So you've got then, you know, don't short the high. You don't want to be the one that takes a screenshot to paste on Twitter to say you got the high or the low. It does, you know, that doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, the big portion of the move, which is this. You know, this is like 15%, call it 30 total, but this is 70. Okay, so you look for 70%. Let other traders worry about the 15 and 15. Don't worry about that. That's, you know, that's crumbs. This is the meat. Okay, that's how you want to do it. Okay, so let other traders fight, you know, the trades here, and then you catch the nice one. Calm, collected, no panic, plan, prepared, and that's it. Let me just adjust this very quickly. And I'm going to put the... There you go. Will we maintain above the trend line? All good. You can see the alerts. Let's just pop that gap back in there. There you go. Kind of working within. Funny how we rejected straight from the midpoint of that. So let's wait for RTH, see if we can get above it, fail, completely fill the gap in RTH, in other words, this session up here. And then let's see if we can then shift value from up to down. That would give us the trigger. But for now, all healthy and all good. Okay, more questions. Exactly, BTC is at resistance, anything can happen, yeah. I like that, Gregor. Dragniel, my TA is doing okay, but I struggle with triggers. Usually I enter the trade too soon, get stopped out, and then enter again. And what triggers your trades besides SFPs? That's easy. Yeah, well, exactly. So you want to be a little bit late than too early, and that's what's happening to you. So have a rule. And for example, in CC we have a lesson by Severin, which is the 3 candle strategy, and I think that's a very good one. You know, it's just like having a fractal, and I'll show you that on TradingView very quickly. So let's just choose a normal chart here. Let me just make this bigger, and let's go down to a 30-minute. Good thing to do is to use a fractal. Do I have it here? No. So there's a fractal indicator, which is by Bill Williams. Okay, he invented this. And when you see a higher fractal or a lower fractal, that means a criteria of 5 candles have met. For example, let's choose one at the lows. Let's choose this one here. Okay, a fractal is a candle that is at a low or a high, but it has 2 candles to the left, which are higher than the fractal itself, and then it has 2 candles on the right, so that one and this one, which are higher than itself. Once this candle is closed, this fractal will appear here, meaning that you have then a swing low. So this is a 30-minute chart. So typically what happens when you get any fractal at the highs or lows, you typically get some sort of continuation. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, call it 9 candles there, continuation. Okay, so that is a fractal. You could have a rule whereby you only, let's go down to a 5-minute, and let's choose NQ, which has been very volatile. And let's choose, for example, this fractal here, just as an example. Like, it's a very prominent one. Why? Because it's a very long wick. So this is the open here. So you open that candle, go all the way down to 40s, and you close back up here. So that's kind of like a bullish candle. So then this candle prints, it's higher than this one. This candle prints, it's higher than this one, and this is your trigger. So you can take a little trade here. Okay, you can take your trade around here. Let me just mark it. So around here, and your stop, you can, I mean, that would be quite far away for your stop, but you could be your stop 2 candles before. 1, 2 candles there. You get stopped up, well, that's it. But then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. You can trail 2 candles back. So after, let me just delete, you can go 2 candles back. So this would be your initial stop, and then 2 candles moves forward. You can move it here, 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 and then move it here, and then you get stopped out here when price goes down. So you've made this little move with small risk. So your trade would look something like this. Okay, so have a rule that says, okay, I'll wait for my level to trigger. What was your level? In this case, let's just make it up. It was like the 40s, 44s. Okay, did it get triggered? Yes. Okay, did we go back inside? Yes. Did we print a fractal? Yes. Is it 5 candles? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes. Okay, buy. Where's your stop? Below either the low of the move or 2 candles back if you're entering on this candle. That's it. Keep it simple. Don't complicate. Hope that makes sense. You're very welcome. Yeah, cycle top. I think if you want to know more about that, 138 that is, join us and go through my posts. And that was shared a long time ago. Where would be the stop loss? You can just choose, it depends. The stop loss can actually be very short, as in like manageable. It could be very near, depending on if you wait a little bit. In other words, be a little bit later than too early. Let price make a good high, trap some longs at the very high. For that you need some sort of order flow. Let it trap some longs, because then those longs, think about it. If like here, let's say 25 100. This is that level we were looking for. You can see on the left we've got that big order 115 there. Okay, so let's say now that price at this 100 level, just there, let's say there's a lot of like traders that decide to jump into here, you can use an order flow software like 89, 41, 13, 13, 27, 28, 12, 14. Each lot here represents around 400,000 of nominal value, so that's quite a lot of volume there. Let's say that these longs up here, let's say that price then suddenly is trading below 94. What happens is these guys that are buying up here, they'll have their stop nearby, because this is, quite a nice range to trade depending on the size. They'll be forced to sell. If you're selling below price will then rapidly move down because they're trapped. Okay, obviously this is a healthy move. We don't really want to do that, and no structure has been broken. And even here, like, structure would be broken around those 50s that we marked earlier. We haven't had that pullback to 50, so that's why there's not been any trade. You can see that's our level. It's just still squeezing higher. But yeah, we're kind of like hitting that 100 now. So yeah, that's just one way to look at it. And now how would you put your stop is like, okay, for example, if in this case we did do that, let's say we did reject these 100s, trapped a lot of longs up here, then they get squeezed down, meaning they have to sell to get out of that position, stop losses, as they market selling this down, okay, and breaking structure. If then on the second side of the move you get like, then okay, new sellers coming in and saying, all right, we've rejected 25, 100, let's really sell this down. They start selling, and then you get the move. So your stop can be just above this swing high, or even locally here, like a 5-minute candle, for example. We used to trade the CFDs, Forex. However, the spreads are never like, there's always like, the spreads, and you can't control that. That's down to the firms, brokers to manage that, which means that you're at their mercy in terms of stop losses and stuff. And when you trade the futures, that's it. It's one price for all, meaning that you can look around any platform right now, TradingView, whatever, the high of this move, currently the all-time high on NQ futures is 25,107.50 cents. That's it globally across any platform. If you go to the CFDs, it will be any level. It could be 26. Well, not 26, but it'll probably be 26,115. It's a different beast. What about shorting NQ? There's been no reasons to short it just yet. We'd have to break some structure, or at least lose all of that nodes down here, previous day settlement. This is squeezing. I might attempt even, like we're still getting that breakout here. I'll just mark that 21,100 because it's a big level. So let's just mark this as a big psychological level here. I'm going to make this yellow. 25,100. Let's go. Just go like that. Okay, big level there. See if we can lose that. Potential look for a little scalp, because it's okay to take these little scalps, but you have to use obviously small risk. But for now, this is still pushing higher. Obrigado, és o maior. Hey, nice. Bom dia, tudo bem? Onde estás no país? Portugal? Inglaterra? Where are you in the world? ETH actually bounced from a nice support level that we shared with the champions. Which was obviously all of this. It's kind of cool. It has to hold, but now you really have to look above the highs. If Ethereum does not reach the highs there, I think that will be slightly bearish. Yeah, it's a little bit weaker than BTC, right? What's LTC doing? Same, very, very similar. XRP, Solana, Sui, everything. It's, you know what, I know a lot of people love crypto, but if I'm honest with you, there's been a lot better moves on the stock market I mean, look at till rate. I mean, you know, just, you know, think about a meme coin. You know, you're looking at a NASDAQ. This is a NASDAQ stock. This is a stock, okay? And you're looking at a beautiful kind of like gap. I mean, look at that beautiful consolidation, another rip. We're talking about this around that 70 cents. And obviously, if you just do this, you know, from 70 cents, you're up 300%. And this is a legit stock. So when you look at other things, I mean, even like this, I mean, it's still consolidating. So there are opportunities on the stock market. Robinhood, you know, if you like crypto, Robinhood. I mean, look at this. You know, we were buying this thing down here at the 200 daily as well as the 50. So look at this. So 50 moving average on the weekly, and then you go to the daily and you've got the 200 moving average on the daily. I mean, this is the biggest buy ever. Comes down, boom. Look how much this moved. So from lows to here, 300%. It's kind of cool how these things really move. So, you know, don't just be fixated on crypto. Crypto is great. Egan is finally moving back again. Great. This is a nice one to keep on your radar. Not financial advice. Make sure this is well written there. This is not financial advice, but you know, again and again and again, we're coming down to the nice support. We flipped all of these moving averages. So we want to see this massive consolidation. There we go. Oh, look at that, beautiful. We want to see all of this massive consolidation, high volume, nice buy delta as well. And we want to see this now start to hold this, even if it comes back down to 120. I wouldn't like to see that too much, but you know, we want to see this leave this zone. Once it leaves this zone, will be something like this down here. Okay, notice the patterns, notice the patterns, notice the patterns. And again, oh yes, it is falling a little. Let's see if we can get just a little scalp here. Let's see if we can get a tiny little scalp back up. There's 100 there. That would be what, 175? Let's see if we can get a little tiny scalp here. If we reject, obviously there. This is why we can have a $65, $70 stop. Doesn't have to be the high, because if it goes back through this level, it's gonna go make another high. So we're just waiting, and you wouldn't be able to do this by just looking at the price here, because you'd be too late. But you can do it if you're looking at something like this here on the left. Not getting what I usually see here for a nice trade. Let's attempt one very quickly. Let's go. Stop will be literally just here. If it goes back above 105s, we want to be out. So $100. And we kind of want to see it go quick down, so we can even minimize risk. It shouldn't come back above, I would say, yeah, that 25-100 should stay below. Because if it comes even back in behind these levels here, we want to kind of like be out. Just give it a little room, just to see if we get that continuation up through 95s. Doesn't want to break yet. There's quite a bit support coming in. You can see it here. Look, so those 97s, they're kind of being held, and we can see 110s, 25s thickening up. So doesn't look, they would have to break these 97s properly, but yeah, they don't want to break it just yet, so I might as well just collapse this. You can see they're bidding now there, and there's like some orders actually being lifted there on the tape. You can see they're between 100 and 101.50s. No, unless they step in now, and I'm looking at the tape down there, but they're not entirely stepping in. So Can you see the black mark? Let me just put this here. Looking here, you can see all of those levels being very thin. So if they were to drop, they would have dropped by now quickly. They're not stepping in, and the cells down here, yeah, okay, they're stepping in. You can see down here on the delta. So we wouldn't want to see them now lose that level. So yeah, at this point, we want to just do a break-even trade. Because if they reclaim this little node here, 99s, you know, that means they want to go back inside. So, you know, call it a break-even. Give ourselves 15 bucks there. And this is how you maintain small risk on these trades. Even though you feel they want to drop this down, there you go. They're not quite ready yet. Oh, yeah, there you go. And this is how you maintain it. They might want to go back to those 10s. You can see they're picking up there. So that's how you maintain those small risks and validations. And then if they do break below here afterwards, if they do break below here, then you might have a 5-minute change, and you've not had that yet. You can see it. Okay. But if they did, let's say if they did broke below those 97s properly, okay, so down here, those 97s, if they did broke there, then we'd take a trade back down to at least those, I would say 90s, 50s down there, and that could give us 700 bucks there. But yeah, obviously when you acknowledge that, you know, there's still some nice bids down here being filled, you know, you can just step away and say, okay, well, I'll try in a minute when I've got a cleaner structure. But it did look good here for a second, you can see. So you had the what's it called? You had the nice high taken. So this signifies, okay, that's all right. And then you break, you know, with this nice impulsive candle. So yeah, it's okay to attempt the short here, but you want to see it snap. You want to see it go. And if it goes back into that level, then you want to be out. You don't want to be, you know, because this, look, if we don't get out there, this is like 125, 175, goes back above the high. That's $200. You know, why would you throw away $200 when you can just say, okay, well, it didn't work, so I'm out. It either works or it doesn't, right? It's not about making, it's about protecting. Can you take a look at BTC video on QT? I can indeed. Give me a second. I don't have the workspace loaded, so it'll take a couple of seconds. But yeah, let's load that up. A nice one on Egan. You're very welcome. I always look for the fill, but the middle gap is a place where a lot of traders always... Oh, I'm not actually connected to my exchange, so let me just connect. It's just... It'll take a couple of minutes. What was the question? Yeah, the middle. Everybody's aware of the middle of the gap, so you know it's a place where you know the 50% of a gap. It's typically where price likes to go retest and revisit. Can you share your delta chart on TradingView in the CC group? I've already done it. It's on the futures channel. Go take a look. But yeah, that delta chart is shared, which is this one, for anyone asking. Yeah, it's the delta chart. That's still, look, the link is still being shared. And in fact, let me just delete these scribbles. Otherwise, it looks ugly. There we go. And there's another couple down here. Boop, boop. And another one down here. And that one. Yeah, that is being shared. Okay, and there you go. Look at that. See how to manage risk. This is how you manage risk. You know, you attempt, it fails, get back out. That way you don't throw away another 200. But if it works, when you go, if it works, I mean, you're talking about 180, 200, 400. You know, just this little bit here. That's, you know, that'll be $400. So. Nazaré, wow. I'm off the big waves. Nice one, mate. How's the weather? Como está o tempo aí? Tá sol? I know. That's good. Shorting here looks like a good setup though. But yes, usually squeeze above. Yeah, look, and if we are, look, just one thing that you need to be aware of, we are in overnight trading as well. So if you want a high to stick, you want that high to be done, and I'll show you here. So let's just hide this trades. So if you want this high to stick, you want this high to be made, let me just go RTH, okay, and I'm going to go 15 minutes, okay. You want this high, and I'm going to hide my levels, to be done like this. You want a high to be done here. So this is overnight trading. So later when the market open here, you want to see the move up. So for now, this is still very much like, okay, we're still holding view up, as you can see, view up, view up, view up. So that's what we wanted to get the long, but we didn't get the long. So 100, that big psychological level here, could give us a little scalp short down into it. So take a short, you know, make 500 bucks or whatever, 700, and then take the long back up. But we have not got that nice pullback yet. So it's just kind of like squeezing towards higher prices. So the next level will be, I would say 20s and then 30s. And then we can just look here on the left to see, okay, where's that next big pocket of liquidity? So we can do this. Yeah, there you go. So 23s, just above 20s. And here, actually, there's a little bit here. You can see they're around 12, 13s. The home of the big wave. I like that. That's nice. Should come there and do some surfing. How long do you use RTH for UTA? What do you mean, how long? As in history, how long to go back? However long you want to. If that's not the question, then re-ask. Gary Swell, Igor, I've seen your charting, 24 hours chart instead of daily chart. What is the difference? Maybe there is a big difference. Maybe you need to join the champions to know the knowledge. There is a massive difference. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Okie dokie, let's take a look then at the CVD as someone requested. Let me just expand this. So someone was asking about the cumulative volume delta, and this is BTC. Let me change this. There you go. Right, so again, so since the whole move started on BTC, we've had a whopping 1.750 billion, so 1.7 billion, all the way down to 1.4, so around 300, right? Delta here, decline of open interest. So the whole move up from 109 has been on declining on open interest. That's by bit, okay? So this move has been on not per se new money, but existing money that it's flowing out of the market, okay? So yeah, it's not like a super duper kind of like impressive, massive, you know, good follow through expectancy, if that makes sense. So yeah, in terms of CVD, yeah, you just see all of these orders leaving the market as well. Okay, so you want, you know, for a sustained really good move, you want to see open interest backing volume. So in other words, open interest just means like, do you have cash behind that nice volume? So you've got, you know, price going up, so this is price action, and if open interest is going down, that means that there are orders actually, like, think about a stack of cash. So that stack of cash is the open interest. If that stack of cash goes out of the market, open interest goes down. If that stack of cash, you know, keeps being added into the market, you know, that means open interest is then going up. And if price then is going up, that means new cash, new longs, new money. So the open interest is going up. That means good, healthy. But if it's not, then you have to be cautious, because typically what happens in these instances where it's old money flowing out of the market, this scenario, that weakens a market, meaning that this, if lost, becomes a very quick move back to the origin, which is done here. Okay, because there's no new money backing this. Clear? But markets can go up for a long time like this, because it means that there is still, I mean, in this case, right, think about it. In this case, on Bybit alone, there's another 1.439 billion. We're looking at this figure here. So so let's say that majority of this 1.4 bill is still longs. You know, the market can still go up while those longs are closing. Okay, so yeah, interesting, right, when you think about it that way. Yeah, we're still holding the market there. Nick, nice, Nick. Now I'm going to call you Nick from now on. I know now. When you started using RTH? A long time ago. And look, it all stems from, let me just show you something. It all stems from using TBO charts. Okay, because when you use TBO charts, let me show you. So this is BTC on TPO, and you can see, I mean, you know, like, you know, these are professional softwares. You can see, like, you know, here's the gap that we talked about earlier, and here's yesterday's gap again. So yeah, think, like, I'm not saying this is bearish. I'm just saying BTC is now at resistance. You know, the final target is around 138, so this can still go to 138 and then come and eat all of this unfinished business. But typically, they always get filled. Typically, not saying it will, but yeah, you know, this is the RTH on, yeah, and also, you know, it's the same as looking at this, right? So, you know, a lot of people don't pay attention to the ETF, but we do have an ETF here, and this is the BTC ETF. And if you look at the BTC ETF, okay, and then you look at the CME on RTH, you're basically looking, so BTC, CME, look at the chart, gap, and then let's look at the ARK investment. It's the same chart, right? Gap. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about the there. Okay, a lot of we're learning a lot here. But yeah, so, you know, the question about CVD, you got a lot of cash still flowing out, but here's all the statistics currently. Yeah, tell you what, I think the great thing to look for today would be some absorption up here. In other words, like bearish CVD, which means, okay, so for those who want to learn this, is, let's say right now, this high was made on negative 14. So the cumulative volume delta for the session, and look, you know, you've got a move going higher, yet you've got negative delta. You know, it's not that positive. You've got like just that the money's like flowing out. It's negative, not positive. You know, for a move sustained up, you want to see that positive delta, meaning like there's new cash coming in, but you don't have that here. So you need to be aware of that. So in other words, taking a long here would be a very big red flag, because you're not going with, you know, backing of other longs. So you're going, you know, it can still squeeze further because you still have 1.483 billion. But, you know, it might not be long lived. But for those that want to learn about that cumulative absorption, you want to see this. I mean, look, from minus, so we're looking here. Let me just mark all of this with the pencil. So we're looking here. So this was the high for now, and on that high you had 113 million. Okay, so quite high volume, but then the delta for the session was still minus, so negative 14. Okay, here, so you're looking at negative 14. Price then, since then, has been going sideways, not making a new higher high. Instead, the price is flat, and there's 18. So between -14 to +18, you can see here 18. So, what's the difference there? You've got at least 18 plus 4. There's quite a lot of delta, positive delta, right? You can see it. A lot of positive delta, yet price did not move higher than this high. So it's doing lowers. I mean, I still feel like we're going to take it anyway, but, just for the sake of teaching this, if this continues below that high and we keep increasing in delta, what does that mean? Well, that means that these buy orders that you can see here on the tape, all of them buy orders, these are market orders going through the tape, all of those are being eaten here. So the tape, this here, like 600k, 300k, 400k, they're all being filled here, those limit orders. All of those limit orders are being filled here. Well, actually, in this case here, they're all being filled around 118. Someone is filling that big order here. And now the delta is actually 18 million. So they've filled an 18 million short position here, and price is not able to go through. Once that short is lifted, meaning like once the market says, okay, well, I've got no more juice to add to this short, then the market might break it. But if it breaks below, then that short is in like the upper hand, and this could then start moving now. Okay, and you want to see open interest as well increase, which it has here in this section. So, all of that short juice is coming into the market. I hope that makes sense. It's a very good lesson. So maybe watch this back a couple of times. Thank you. I don't really use CVD on NQ because I think we don't actually need that. It's so much more volume. Just look at this. So this is BTC on the weekly, and this is monthly. Yeah, we're above value now. So yeah, caution. Caution with the longs there in the daily. Yeah, on the daily I wanted to see, actually, there you go. So we've got 30 mil there. Pardon me. Let me just go with delta. I want to see something. 19.2, there you go. So all right, if this number is correct, obviously this was early in the session last night, but if this number is correct, there are 20.7 million longs above price. Okay, so remember what I said earlier. So if this number is correct, right now price is trading below that figure, and there is 20 million longs. Okay, so 20 million longs. In fact, there's more longs up here than shorts. Okay, you can see that this whole profile, if I just show you the totals, let's go to volume and show total, we have a staggering 53 positive million on all of this profile. So that if price is unable to claim that node, all of those longs are now underwater. Okay, so they're not in profits. They are kind of not praying or hoping, yeah, kind of both actually, that price goes back above where they bought. They bought at 119.200. Some of them will be stops as well, let's face it, but there are some new longs there. If price gets above it, good, we can go higher. However, if we start moving away from that too much, put the question to yourself, what would you do if you had like a 1 million long up here and suddenly price was breaking down? What do you have to do to call it quits? You have to sell because you bought, right? So you bought here, so you buy here, so this is a buy, you buy, but price is down here, so you're currently negative, right? If then price continues going lower, let's say price continues going low, you go like, okay, well, that was not part of the plan. I wanted this to go higher. And then it takes the lows and you're like, okay, well, that's it. I don't want to hold this long trade anymore. Okay, I need to market, sell. Can't really limit sell as price is going down. You have to market. What happens to price? Well, if there's 20, that the bigger the number, the bigger the drop. If there's 20 and 20 are, think about 20 now, 20 market sales coming through that tape. I mean, the biggest number we've seen so far here is 118. So if 20 million suddenly start selling here at market, you can see that quick cascade. And this is what sometimes those singles, those inefficiencies on the TPO price, they get revisited. One here, a massive one here. You can see like that's the bottom of it and that's the top. There's another one. And then price comes down here quickly. And then people just get like, oh, what the hell just happened? What did happen here? What did happen? Well, I tell you what happened. There was 20 million. Let's just delete so you can see the numbers. There were 20 million longs right at the high. We call them the silly bulls. Well, if price drops below, obviously. So they got wrecked. They got stopped out. They had to stop. So they had to market sell all of those orders. And if there's no one to buy it, well, where are they? Let's have a look. Well, on the DOM here, we've only got 900, 300, 200, 200. So there's not 20 million here. So this could swallow all of this because it's the 20 mil market sell is bigger than all of this put together. And that's where you get a liquidation. And then you get down to support. And then you get, okay, well, look, we had a nice retracement. Let's buy back in. And then price starts to go back up. So yeah, never buy the top. Always be aware of what's going on and use a software like this that shows you, okay, what's happening. And you don't look at this all the time. You look at this when things like this are happening, like we're at all-time highs or approaching key levels, in other words, 120K, etc., etc. So yeah, very, very good knowledge. Let's go back to, there you go. So we're still hovering around that 100. Let me just go down to 1 minute. Yeah, we're still flirting here. Let's go full session. You can see that since we went back above it, it's not been very explosive, right? We can take a look at the volume here and the delta. Look, so on the initial first move, the high was 155 lots. So that is 155, and each lot, it's 20 times the index price. So each one lot, it's 20 times 25,100. Okay, so 20 times, and then that, when you have 20 times, so what's 20 times 25,100, and then you times that by 155. So even during the overnight, you have more volume in 1 minute candle. Well, actually, yeah, 1 minute candle than you have pretty much in a whole day of, no, not the whole day, but a good big chunk of BTC, for example, as we just saw. And that's just 1 minute. Okay, so 20 times, so one, have to do that because a lot of people don't understand this. So one lot equals 20 times the index price. In this case, it's 25K. Okay, and then obviously you time it by the total volume of that candle, and in this case was 155 times 155. So you do the maths. So 20 times 25K times 155, and that's how much volume you have in this candle here. And you can buy this and sell this with, I think it's $1,000. Yeah, with $1,000 on an exchange, you can buy one lot. Okay, so it's completely different to crypto. And I think I've just deleted all of my levels, so I need to go back. Oof, best not to do that. Sorry, I didn't want to delete my levels. Okay, and I'm talking about all of these down here. That takes a bit of time to put there. Yeah, we're still consolidating here. I still might find a little trade. Be nice to get a retracement at least back to those 100s. Do you trade NQ? Of course. NBTC? Of course. NES? Of course. Daniel doesn't look this far back on OI and CV that I think, but this way is very okay. Good. Yes, you could see it that way, yes. Especially late in the move. We call them the late traders, right? They come in very late and they are the fuel to a squeeze to the downside because they're buying too late. And it's not a matter of when. It will happen at some point. You know, you always see it. You know, the cycle always repeats itself. They get trapped, they get stopped out, and then the move continues. You see it all the time and time again. I cannot wait to shake your hand in. Oh, nice, Nick. Same. Can you wish my little bro Nick Gear happy birthday? He's a big fan. Oh, happy birthday, Nick. And I hope you have a great one. Nice. Nice celebration. It's your day. Hang on. I think I missed. Okay, good. But yeah, happy birthday. Hang on. I think I did. Oh, there you go. Hello, we got how you backtesting strategies. How would you know if a strategy you are using is profitable? Did you use any FX replay? Yeah, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with backtesting strategies. Obviously, I think that's very, very, very good indeed. But one thing is having a strategy that you've backtested. The other thing is actually placing those trades, because it's always the emotional part that either make it or break it. So it's all well having 60%, 55%, probabilities, whatever, but it's down to the actual trader to to be okay with those trades. A lot of traders will just get into a trade, see a bit of red or green, and jump out. I mean, a great example was yesterday. Yesterday we were trading this section on NQ, and we were waiting for the little break back up. We were waiting for this little move at the close around here. So we're waiting for this yesterday. In fact, let me see if I can show you here. Give me a sec. There we go. Where is it? There we go. So that I'm not saying, oh, I think it was here, I think it was there. No, it was here and it was there. There's no making things up here. So yesterday, this was power hour. And let me just delete this. There you go. So this is what we were doing yesterday. So this was power hour yesterday. Just before power hour. We attempted the similar short to today. We attempted, got stopped out, literally right there. And then here you can see that we attempted it again for the break below to get back into the long. The VWAP was below as well. But then we were like acknowledging this section here. So this was the right there. So let me just mark this. So I don't think, you can see it here. So you have, actually, let me just mark. Oops. Where's my mark? There. So you have the market, oops, let me just mark that again. So you have the market trying to go lower, but it's not going lower. So, second again. So this is like, targets are below for a little like stop hunt, at least, to then get into a long, but the bias is very much long. This market is going higher. So, we then attempt the trade here to go down, but it comes back above it. Okay, you can see we got stopped out right here. That's where we got stopped. And then we break this little structure back up. Okay, and then we wait a little bit. Okay, we wait. We then see this nice, beautiful candle. You have a beautiful trend line here that's already been broken, and that's where we got in. And look, from there to our exit. Okay, so we boxed in this trade. So instead of like just, closing here, or even, as I explained yesterday when I was doing it live for everybody, this is all recorded live on the time. So, a lot of traders would just collapse the trade here, take the trade out, and that would have netted them $265. But what we did is, using the SF, which is this thing here on the left, which is the liquidity, we held, and we got out right there at $25,005.75, and that gave us around $600. So the same trade took us a lot, but it cost us about what? So this one down here, let me just delete all of this. Oops. There. So this one here cost us $50, and this one here cost us $65. So dollars below $100 each, but then when you get a runner, that's 600. So it's like what, 5 to 1 risk to reward, and that was it. And then no more trades. And then we closed the day, I think it was like 1700 each times 5. So that was nice. And yeah, and throughout the day, these were the rest of the trades. So again, this is not, oh, maybe it was here, maybe it was there. They're all here. So these are the trades taken yesterday. So from the open, you know, all of the trades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite a few trades. But yeah, and then we're going for questions and then back in. Very nice. But yeah, I want to keep an eye here just in case we do break below. Could be, yeah, Nick. Yeah. Juan Duarte, if delta is increasing, why new shorts, Igor? Shouldn't it be the opposite? Was it just longs that are being open? I explained that earlier, especially if you go back and watch that. Otherwise, I'll be here for the rest of the day. And I'm going to have a bit of coffee. This always happens when we come. I mean, this is supposed to be London Open. Obviously, between 8 and 10. These 2 hours should have given us at least, well, streaming not for 2 hours, but shouldn't give us at least a nice. But yeah, I guess, you know, 25-100 is a big level. So yeah, we're just seeing this little consolidation here. Let's just see the point of control building up at 25. Actually, I need to save this. I said that yesterday. Let's just save this. Okay, so we got the point of control now above price. We might get a little retracement here, but it's taking its sweet time. And you can see that if we do get a little short scalp here, it's still kind of like going into the long trade. We prefer the longs because, you know, this is a really nice uptrend, but, you know, it's really hard to long at big psychological level, 25-100. So you kind of have to kind of like wait for a little change. Like we got here earlier, that's why we attempted that first time. And then instead of like having to wait all of this and still be on that stop loss, let's say you accounted $300, it might still play from here. Let's say it was just $300. You're still in that trade, you know, from earlier, if you remember there, you're still in that trade, but you're spending too much mental power, right? You're like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So, you know, just close, you know, and have your mental power freed up so you can focus on a new trade. It could be a long. This could come down here instead of being on that short that you're still attached to. You know, we could come here now, for example, between this low and the high. And if we come down to the 75 here, okay, because you're free to think, because you're not in that short trade, you've taken $15 loss, whatever, you can then say, okay, well, if we come down now to this zone like this, if we do come down here and do this, and then shift this, making a low and a high, then you say, okay, great. I now take this trade back up, make another $300 or whatever, 400 if it goes to there, and it's still making higher highs and higher lows. And you risk another 75. Okay, so that's a good way to look at it as well. Free your mental capacity. So let's just zoom in, keep it all nice zoomed in. This is what we're working with now. Back to the chat. I want to express my thankfulness to you since I started to make the caps on the CME. My accuracy, oh good, some points. And for the abandoned baby, heads up. Ah, nice. Yes, the abandoned baby, that was pretty insane. Yeah, there you go, we can see him. Here's our beautiful baby. Do I have there he is. My little emojis are very good. Well, we did. We went on YouTube straight away, and I said, when you get this, typically you get really nice fall of flu for 1 to 2 weeks. That's what I said. So we got, obviously, you know, this is just looking at the RTH, but there's your abandoned baby. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive, you know, nice downtrend from that candle. So you went from 16 all the way down to 8. So yeah, here's your abandoned baby. If you want to know more, you know, there's a whole video on that. But yeah, nice one, mate. This is Quant Hour, my friend. This couldn't be explained more simply. Oh, nice. The things you taught today will stay. Oh, nice. Some people are finding some value here. That's good. Well, if you do, smash the likes. There's only 4 likes. No way. That's no. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. That's it. All right, we're leaving. 4 likes. Come on. How many people are here? 300 people. Come on. I want to see those likes up to 300 now, at least. 299. Come on. That's. Maybe you're just paying attention. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Come on, those likes. Smash the likes. Otherwise, I'm gonna go back and just do this myself. Come on, get those likes. Smash the likes. I think I've missed a few comments. Yeah, smash the likes while I read the comments. Okay, what is the minimum to start trading ESNQ average through brokers? I would say 2.5k minimum, and that will just that's like really like bare minimums. And the reason for that is because you do need a little bit to just kind of like not worry about, you know, that kind of like, well, drawdown. So when you enter a trade, you're not P&L watching. Yes, looking forward to Porto. Anything on QT is coming to Mac? I don't think so, but maybe at some point. This looks so good. Oh, really? Yeah, see, this is the difference. When we do it on the platform, it doesn't look as nice as this. I know that. But yeah, Quant Tower is just really nice. I mean, even the class, everything. Obviously, I'm using Tick 4 and the price is just stuck. So, you know, you'd have to get this like during regular trading hours to make it justice. Especially with the TBO charts. Like the information here is just next to none. I mean, like I'm looking at, for example, yesterday there was a nice wall formation here. Like, can you see this negative delta around the M session? You had big point of control at 61,000, but looking left, you can see the delta there as well. One single, so very likely to go through still. Already is during overnight. It's just so, you know, it's just so invaluable, this information. So yeah, Quant Tower is very good. And again, zero affiliations to the company. I just like the software. And yeah, you got options as well, so you can take a look at the options chains. So it's like this is what I like it. I like it because you can do everything that TradingView does and more. But yeah, you can check your options and analytics. So for example, you know, you can go to the options chains and check out the levels for today coming up. So this is really good to find those nice clusters for support and resistance on ES. So we've got 6,800 currently, obviously priced at 6,775, and that is where the biggest volume cluster is situated now. So price is kind of like pinned in this section here, so it should stay around here. Makes sense. But you've got support down there at 6,700, so that's all the way down there at yesterday's, well, a couple of days back, point of control, as you can see here. Around here, so that's the big massive support level, which is a point of control. Again, good. VWAP 635, so let's take a look. 335, not too much there. Value area high as well. But yeah, 68, so I would be surprised if we do head towards 68 today. That's the next level anyway. So 67, yeah, 68. We've got a massive cluster now. So going into today, that 68 up here could be a magnet zone should traders still continue to stay above here, as you can see here. So let's say if they continued squeezing, they could go up to that 68. You know, that's where the options are pricing this in. So yeah, Quant Tower is just honestly like really good. To have all of this stuff here live is just And there you go, look, you know, that is still holding the 50% here of this. So between the low and the high, this is the 50% line, still holding that. But yeah, that would have been the better retracement. So this is like where that good risk management comes into play, because if you take a long here, then you've got like one box as risk, but then you've got 1, 2, and 3 rewards. So this is a 3 to 1 back up to the high. So this becomes the best place to get into a trade. Stop loss here. Okay. But we know that level, so we're just going to mark a line just to make it nice and clean. Can we get a small explanation on Eigen chart? Yeah, nah, for that you need to join us. I don't understand. Give me a second. Let me just check something here. Give me a quick second. I'm back. Just want to check a couple of things here. Okay, good. Right. Gosh, I really want to take that trade, but you know I can't just jump in. Okay, first time to see it. Nice. Okay. Do you have a way to guess which way is the range will resolve with volume? Yes, of course, absolutely. Yeah, typically you can see it here on the level 2. You can typically, but that comes with experience. But typically, with that experience, you can pinpoint these moves because the market is always trying to, you know, kind of reel in those traders to, you know, kind of like take their stops so that they can fill the nice orders. So you will see that it will try and run 30 points above a certain level. So in this case will be, let's have a look. So 30 points above that will be, well, actually above 25. 100, yeah, there you go. I was there. There you go. So that could be 30. So that could run to 30. So 2130 before, because a lot of people shorted here. They then get the stop for 30 points and then they get stopped out. And once the stop happens, then you get a counter move. So it's always being aware of these kind of like, you know, where would you put your stop and what is the market trying to do? And then you can kind of like slowly with time get aligned with that. How can we get this type of heat map on Atos? Atos is not the best with the heat map. You might as well just buy Bookmap or use Quantower. It's free if you use AMP, so you don't lose anything. Actually, yeah, that's it. Quantower is free if you have a broker with AMP, not financial advice. How can we get, okay. Lovely questions. My preferred scenario for BTC would actually be a massive rejection here. I would actually laugh a lot and be very happy if we did this. I would absolutely love if BTC did this. Today, squeezed, filled the gap completely during RTH, massive rejection, and came all the way down to here. And then here, everybody got bearish and sold and got stopped out from buying up here, so they buy. I'd love to see them then sell. So they buy at the high, they sell at the lows, and then price does this. That would be this is my preferred scenario. In other words, if 1, then 2. And then if 1 down here later, then 2 up here, meaning 3, 4. So 1, 2, well, 3 up there, so 2, 2. That is my preferred scenario on BTC. Reel in the longs, stop them out, reel the shorts, stop them out. Oh, I see. The likes are unupdated. Oh, maybe that's it. I can see 100. Okay, good. All right, I'll stay a little bit longer. Oh, yeah, we're getting a little move now. There you go. We came to 15. Let's see if this is going to reject. We had a little seller stepping in there with 97 lots. Just bring the tape back up. Yeah, good. A print screen. That is funny. Yeah, print screen that. Yeah, yeah, that's right. NQ is now. Let's see if we can fish something here very quickly. I'll stay for another few minutes and then let's see if we can capture something here. So that's for later. That's the gamma there on the futures, on the options. Yeah, we're coming back to that 100. Okay, 106. Keep this on a 1 minute. And yeah, let me know in the chat if you're enjoying the content, if this is something that you would like me to do more often, what would you like me to cover, if this is a good time to do it, if you'd prefer it to be a bit later in the session. In other words, would you prefer this to be maybe like the PM session? Because yeah, we can look at those kind of things. No comments, Stelius. I'm worried about the bags that ain't pumped yet. You reckon the projects are dead or have a chance of recover? What project? What project? Okay, we're looking here. Let me just bring this to... So we have a poor high on NQ, so it's very likely that this will run back up to the highs. It doesn't have to be now, we can have a little retracement. We got the singles all the way down until 88, so you do have that poor high there. Good question. I'm still render. Okay, right. Yeah, I'm not sure about those ones, but yeah. New York Open. Yeah, we could do. I mean, we already do that for the members. Some of those sessions, and obviously, you know, otherwise it's going to be just live trading all the time, and we kind of need to sometimes it's nice. Like yesterday, I'm sure Severin probably really enjoyed, you know, being there just at one with the charts and just going for it, because it is nice when you're like engaged by yourself and just really in the zone. And when you're like here, like reading the chat, commentating, you know, like looking at everything, you know, your attention and your sort of like you know, focus does drop by significantly. So it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's hard, but I'm saying it's just a little bit more difficult to get 100% in the zone, because when you're trading, especially during the New York Open, you know, this will be printing 10 times or 50 times more the volume than it is now, and it'll be like bouncing all over the place. So you need to really be at it. And these patterns, for example, this pattern right here, it's taking over a, you know, since pretty much when we started the stream, you know, we came up to it. So it's taking all of this time to still come to fruition, and it's still kind of developing. So this kind of like range that you see here since earlier, look, since top of the hour. So this is still kind of like developing. Let's actually use that candle high and this candle low. So this is the range that we are working with. And you can see that we are at that midpoint, which is the 25,100. So this pattern is taking a little bit of time to develop, but we can see a trade to the opposite direction, at least down to this little section that we marked earlier, you know, and then if it goes there, it might have a little retracement below. So a look below. So just like here, you can see this, like sometimes it's nice to put a range because you can see, so you've got the range low, the range high, you've got the deviation above the high. You're now at the midpoint. So if you lose that midpoint, you've got this as support, which is that low, or a deviation below. So look below, fail back inside, and then another high, and this is a poor high still. Okay, so we could see that trade. So it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for that nice trigger, which I have not really seen it, to be honest. Maybe we can see it nowish. At least we've got tight risk here, but this candle looks so ugly. You can see that's 1 minute candle. Doesn't look the best. Had it had a wick here down to at least 05s. Nah, it doesn't look the best. That could give a short down to this level. That's 175. And then risk would be 35. So yeah, that's a small scalp that we could attempt. Let me know in the chat, we can do this together. And where we'd take it to 82 at least. Okay, so that would be below the range, 82s. Let me see, 87s, 82s. Okay, so 95s. Yeah, because there's not really much support down there below those 97s, so we might not. Yeah, 95. Look, you can see it here, and I'll show you by just filtering a little bit of volume here. So look, I'm going to show you where that support is coming in. So you've got the support actually at 95 is being lifted. So the support that was here is actually being lifted. So that support is no longer there. Can you see? Was there, removed. So, and then they moved it to 90. So the support was once here where we marked 95s, but they've just removed it. So below that low, it was there earlier, and then as price started to come lower because it's, oh, there you go, we are getting that little. I might attempt it here just one more time. Let's go, let's attempt it. I said $60 risk. There you go, 75, just below that candle that I don't really like the look of, but let's just attempt it, because if we drop here, we go all the way down to, well, beyond 95. I think it would be at least 90s, which is a low, right? Yeah, it's the low. So we could do that, keep our stop above there, give it a bit of room to breathe just in case, and then we can bring the data back in. There you go, and I'll take a look at the chat. But yeah, it's not looking very promising, but let's see if they can do that shift down. Does the quant hour chart indicate ETH or RTH? Both. Yes, on Quantile you just right click. Oh, there you go. They're trying to come back in. Yeah, on Quantile you can just go to settings, and there you go. They're trying to. Let's see if they have. Yeah, there you go. We're gonna get stop on that. That's fine. Yeah, they're just not ready to drop yet. But it did kind of look okay for a second there. But they're just not ready to take this down yet. Yeah, on Quantile is here. So you've got RTH, full day, RTH, ETH. You can choose whatever section you want to look at. I've got it full day for now while I'm streaming. Quant hour again. Gosh, a lot of people want to know what the platform is. It's Quant hour, not Bookmap. This is Quant hour as well. So this is all Quant hour. Yeah, all Quant hour. And yeah, you can see here we're still not unable to break this little lower lows and lower high structures. We're holding those 100s. So we have to wait for that kind of trade that takes follow through. For now, we still don't have it. I love these streams. Good. These streams are me to keep up. Okay, good. Please more in the future. Nice. Do you think do you think total 3 can double before bear market starts? It's even if we come down on BTC, even if we come down to that 95, it's still bullish. I think you will see a big retracement if we do the opposite. If we do the opposite of what I just explained here, let's say if BTC, okay, so this was one scenario that I showed earlier, meaning like if 1, then 2, then 3. However, if 1 is actually here, okay, at 138, well, look at that, 138. If 1, like the trade, if the direction first BTC goes there, that's not 2. Okay, 2 is 70k. And I know everybody's going to be like, oh my god, what? Really? Yeah, really. 2 is here. Okay, if we go first there, actually, look at this. If you do this, then this, then that. There. 1, 2, 3. That would be my preferred scenario. However, if you do number 2, which is this, then I'll be looking for that. Okay. And that'll be this. And that, my friends, on a higher time frame is still mega bullish. Okay. So yeah, mark those drawings. And I'm treating this as if it was a 5-minute chart. And if you're a champion, it's like exactly what I'm on about here. Come on, yeah. I think I'm going to do these streams a little bit later in the session. I think I'm going to either do a PM session. Because yeah, this is trying, when you get a move, like let's say you were, getting out of the range, we get a continuation down to view up. That's a good trade. Can't buy up here for obvious reasons. So yeah, you're kind of stuck. So I can't, I have to wait for more oomph in the market to take a trade. So I can't really, but yeah, I think explaining yesterday's trade and what we did live on this section here yesterday, I think that was nice for you guys to see. Yeah, on this section. So seeing the trades there and the prior ones, you can see. So this is what we did yesterday live for the members. But yeah, we're just not getting that same movement here today, so I can't take many trades. We've attempted a couple tiny little scalps here for peanuts, but it's just not getting that follow through. It's still, I feel it's still coming here, but no orders coming through. Let me just put the tape in. Yeah, it's still not quite there, I'd say. So I'll wait. It's best to wait. I'll go for the rest of the questions. I'll have these streams good. Nice. Struggling to get DSF to look as clean as yours. Well, mine is default. There's nothing. I've obviously changed a few things, but in terms of the settings, here's the settings. That's it. You want to be able to see the full depth of the market. If you only filter this to check certain things at certain times, you don't keep this like that. You need to see the check, and this is when you then are able to see algorithms come in. And yesterday we had so many, like you could see them here, like coming up to meet current price, and it was very rapid, like those, and it's algorithmic because you can see no human being would be able to change that tick by tick by tick by tick, like literally so rapid. It's an algorithm that just measures that move between current price and let's say deviation of 100 ticks. So you'll see like a line here going up and up and up and up following price, and then that order then comes down, gets filled, and the price continues. It's just like let's say an institution or a bank or whoever trying to get that order filled, and they acknowledge price is going to go much higher, they still want to get filled, so they just get that algo to trigger to go closer to price as possible so that they can get filled. So far, so many questions. I'm in the group. Maybe I should ask Trading Assist. Yes, absolutely. Trading Assist is a legend. Great stream, Igor. Always very educational. Thank you. Good. Thank you. I guess it's all about BTC dominance. Where do you think it can target, and what can we measure a total 3 accordingly? I never looked at dominance on that. I prefer just, and there you go, another rotation higher. I always prefer just to look at the naked chart alone. Gives you more information. If we do number 2, I'll do nice. Nice. After the coffee, yeah. You took the Europe trade yesterday. Kind of, yes. I did get stopped out a couple of times. Well, actually, a few more times, but we had a really good day yesterday. Do I need Rhythmic to make these? Yes, you do. But you can also do on CQG. I mean, you just have to be a little bit more zoomed in. The difference between Rhythmic is that you have a bit more depth, okay? And CQG you only have 100 ticks, okay? Meaning that you're not going to be able to see. Nice one. DR trades. Good. Well, that was a different session here. Let's just wait a couple of minutes to see if we get that meaningful move. And it's a bit of a shame because we didn't drop down to that 95. We saw those bids being removed earlier around those 95s down here. Let's see if they added it back on. Yeah, it was around here, 95s. Yeah, they took all of the orders out. Price held. Another rotation. You can see some asks there. 74 size. Let's see if they lift that. You can see there on the tape. And yeah, you can see there on the tape, this is all live. This is no demo or anything. Like if I put an order here at 75, that will change to 76. There you go, my queue is on order 76. And then if I remove it, goes 75. So this is a live account. Let's just wait to see if we get that nice little push. I want to see if they lift that. Actually, that's probably a good way to see it because you've got an HD today. You're on 4K, so you can actually see the numbers all properly. And this on the right here, this is the delta. You can see that on this section alone here, 1150. That's minus 60 there, the last trade on that level. So that will flash when, yeah, that's a buy. That's another buy. And a sell, so there's quite a few sells coming in actually. Yeah, you can see there. Can you see the tape now showing all of those sells? 352, just that buy that we just saw, and the price level. So yeah, there is some selling interested here, but you know, this big order here might just be there to spook a few traders. But 70, what was that? 76 lots. Yeah, 76. That's quite a large order for the overnight. Remember what I said earlier, so that's each one of those is 20 times 25,000, 115, 25 times 20. That's funny. Yeah, 112, but the micros is slightly less, isn't it? So one micro is a tenth of one mini. So one of those position sizes, the nominal value of this trade value, it's 500k actually. I didn't even realize that. It's actually 500k. So one trade is 500,000 nominal value now. Yeah, of course. It's at 25k. That makes sense. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting. It went from fear to greed in 1 week. Yeah, but I mean, look at the stock market as well. Oh, there you go. That order is filled. Was it filled? 38.21. Yeah, it was filled. Okay, so someone just filled that nice juicy order there. Okay, let's see if they've got more juice or if they step in with the sales. Be nice to get a little runner here that we can hold for a few minutes. At least now that's the only time. So earlier, how much was that order at the highs? That was 140. Okay, so they are feeling significant, but you know, they still not quite finish. There's another ask there for 10 and then another one for 17, and above that high there's a few still there. I just want to see the movement on the tape pick up a little bit. In other words, these orders to start going a little bit more rapid through the tape, and that will kind of give us, there we go, just one number, there you go. $400 lots now above price. 25s, remember from earlier? You know, those 30 points above. So they're kind of like stepping in with the orders now. Be nice to trade to the other side of the range. See if we get a little retracement. In other words, look above and then look below. They're still stepping in 109s. You can see there 109s 20. Okay, there's a lot of activity now happening here. So what is the time? Okay, 10:23. It's around 5:30. So the New York is starting to wake up. Looking at volume clusters here. So what was the current high there from earlier? So we had 137, second one 68, third one 61, and last we had, okay, so the volume has increased on that high there. So let me just mark again. So that was the high 17, but it had highest volume there. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it might get a little retracement here though. We had that nice volume node up there. Okay, we had the first 5-minute close there. Okay, all right, that looks a little bit better now. So we want to kind of go with the low of that 5 minute at least. Let's go for the second one prior to that, 1 minute, and then mark this level 2. Ideally, yeah, we didn't get much follow through on those 11s, so the big order followed through. We're still looking for those 82s. That's the only place down here that has meaningful. Apart from that, it's all at 25. So let's hide that so we can see. Yeah, 890s. Okay, let's see if we can get those 106 to 109. So 109 will be 2 candles back. So that could be our trail stop. Let me just mark this as a trail stop. And I don't think we're going to get into this. I think it's going to just go. If it needs to go, let me look at ES as well. Yeah, back inside the range. Okay. Hey, there you go. So we kind of like run a little bit too quick from that level. So that'd be 1, 2. Let's see if we can still get that move. We might get a selling step in below the lows. can see how we're still hovering around that 21,100. So from 21,100, so the first high was only 14 points or half, and this has been what, 17. So they kind of like took it 17 points. So I still feel we're going to trade through there, obviously, especially with that big order at 25. But it's just locally now. We might get that nice little retracement. But we'd have to close below that now. Stopped out to say hi and good job. Thanks, Randall. What do you think about the price action today? On what? BTC? The legend. Hello, my friend. 25.17. Today, so far, it's, you know, around this 100. It's been very slow. As you can see, we're trying to look for a little scalp, but not avail. This one just didn't give me that little retracement that I wanted to see up here, like this candle. Just didn't give me that nice, well, this one here, into those 106s. And you can see sometimes when you see or spot the move a little bit later, you know, you've come below, you know, it doesn't give you that opportunity to go back in, but that would be like a nice trail. It might just go through now. Nice one. Yeah, I think I might wrap it up as well. So yeah, again, thank you very much for being here. You know, quite an educational sort of like session. You know, a lot of questions answered there. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, do smash those likes. You know where to find us, chatchampions.com. BTC is still around that same level there, so nothing has changed really. I'm kind of like looking more at the higher time frame here on this. The champions are well informed of my kind of like place on BTC, what I'm looking at it, and they've been aware of all the levels, the big higher time frame levels that we've been bouncing from. For example, you know, the 50Ks, this 27Ks, and it's nothing magical really. I mean, all you have to look here is, you know, like sometimes it can be just as simple as, you know, a good old 200 simple moving average, and you can see that since the bear market, oops, wrong chart, since the you know, big retracement we had down to, you know, 15K, since we reclaimed the 200 and retested at 27, you know, this was really well spoken about in one stream. I actually pinned the stream the other day and I said this, I'm buying, you know, this is what I'm interested in BTC and looking for higher. We got a nice run back above it, we retested it, 50K, beautiful, and again, and then back again, 75K. This was March and April when we had the stock market correction and we were buying the stock market heavily. This is when Robinhood was also doing those nice, you know, nice moves, and then obviously another higher high. So you can see that, just keep it simple, higher time frame, like just pop, you know, 200 SMA, you know, that's all you need really. You know, BTC has gone from a more of a investment rather than, and when you put the line chart, then you can appreciate how beautiful this is. Oh, look at that, we did get the drop. Oh, damn you. And it was 82, wasn't it? 82, there you go. It's come, oh, damn you. We kind of, yeah. And here's why, like obviously we're doing all of these things together and we missed this little trade, so it's a kind of a cost to us sometimes. But yeah, that was nice, and it all stemmed from that big order there, $17 above the 100 level. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we missed it. That's okay. No complaining. But yeah, that's where, can you see those 82s that we marked earlier? That's where, and look, they lifted the bid at 95. They lifted it, meaning that if price gets to there, then it goes to the next level, and the next level was 82. So we still might get that little push back now. Let's see how far they want to take this, and then we can potentially take this down to those 82s. It's just a little bit too late now to sell. What would be 200? But yeah, I don't see, look, here's my problem. We could use this lower from here on that candle. That's the only, because the next one is all the way up here. So if we can get 95, but I don't think we will. Let me just see. Let's see if we can get this move back above 95 and then drop. Where's the point of control down there? Yeah, I feel we might not get it. But that would be a quick little scalp trade. But we need to drop. We need to at least go to 94. Yeah, I think it's going to go. Because otherwise there's no good risk management. Think about it. If I short just now, I'm still looking for 82. I'll make $160. Okay. But my risk is 130, 40. So it makes no sense. I'd have to wait for this to come up to at least 95. Then I can put my stop at 99. So that would give me 90. But then my reward is at least 300. So yeah, give me a little push up to 95, towards this floor here. Then we can potentially take this down to VWAP if those 82s don't hold. And you can see it rolling over. But yeah, going back to BTC, so I can wrap it up and go and see if I can find some trades. You can see how this was beautiful here. I remember talking through this exactly as it was happening. Like the pattern we had here, it was just beautiful, like really, really nice. And then again here, we front ran it, we came down, sweeped it, and I was like, perfect. And look, this is typically, if we keep going here, this will catch up to that 95 big here area. So yeah, if we do come here again, that's what we're looking for. That would be nice. However, if we keep going to 37, 38, right there, then on the way back down, I will not buy this. Okay? I will not buy that. That will be just maybe a pause, flirt, and then lose. And then you can mark your, used to be 30%, but now I think 10% will be, well, actually, we could get that big one. We could get that big 30%. So eyes on BTC, have this line marked. Don't forget about it. And you can always add the 50 as well. 50 is very, very good indeed. Where is it? There. There you go. Keep it simple. Higher time frame. The mindset of a professional risk manager, right? That is real. Oh, thank you. Good. These little moves, right? These little moves always. Yeah, they always leave us behind. But oh gosh, look at that. I mean, we came back to 94.5 and I missed it because I was. Look at that, perfect. See. Yeah, and now I'm annoyed. See, this is why. Can you see that? That is annoying because it's like pinpoint. And look, if we trade to 82, I'll be like, because that was the trade, and we got it. Look, can you see? Look here. You can see it here, perfect. So let me just put the drawing tools here. Look, you got the 90. Well, I said 95, so you can see they're 95s. But I mean, come on, look, literally just to it, which means you can have a better risk, like 125, and still hold for those, 2 to 1 at least minimum. But yeah, look at that. We did get that little move. Maybe they'll still go and fill that 95. Look, 95 already figured out. Time will tell. Anyway, thank you very much for being here today. I'll go and focus on this for a little while, make another coffee, and I will see you guys on another stream in the not so distant future. So yeah, thank you, and goodbye. I was just waiting to see if there was one final question there from anyone. Very educational. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. Any other questions? I'm always happy to respond. But yeah, you know what to find us, Chat Champions. Smash the likes before you go. Share it with your grandma, with your aunt, with your dad. Let them watch the video. Let them learn one or two things about trading and investing, especially on good old BTC. Or how a simple moving average can really make a difference. Yeah, and very, very nice indeed. And actually, for those of you who like Ethereum, when you look at this chart and then you look at ETH, let me just find ETH, which is down here somewhere. You can see how this is still not the best chart. It's only just started to get traction. And we actually spoke about this chart. I was sharing this with the champions, that this zone here was the only time where we actually closed above the 200 for all of this time that we've been below it, right here. And then we were looking for the highs if it closed above. And when you go to a chart like this, you can then see it right here. Look, right, let's zoom right in. Look at that. This is the first time here. Look, close, 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 close. Those are the closes. All of this below, and the moment we closed above, that's when we start rounding this up, and now we're back in business. So very, very educational, and boom shakalaka, there's yours 82s from those 94s. Anyway, great time to go get a coffee and go and capture some trades. Yeah, that's a little bit annoying that we missed that little pullback. That would have given us that 250. Anyway, you know the drill, you know what we do here. When the market starts moving, that's typically when we start enjoying those trades. For now, it's very slow. It took a long time to break, and the break just didn't give me the structure here that I want to see. At least here was better. This little pullback here was much better than up here. Up here we got literally nothing like here. But this one was good. I'm annoyed that I missed this one. This one is annoying because look, it's perfect. It's too good. And I was looking at the other screen, but at least you learn about the the nice good old moving average. That was nice. Losing that below, it's it's the trigger. There you go. That would have netted at least 250. Anyway, I digress. Have a great trading day ahead. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one, which shouldn't be too far away. So yeah, thank you and goodbye.